When was the last time you truly felt connected to someone? I'm not talking about small talk, polite conversations, or pretending to care about things that don't touch your heart anymore. I mean that rare feeling of being genuinely seen, completely understood. If you've recently found yourself drifting away from almost everyone, family, friends, colleagues, even people who once felt close, take a breath. You're not broken. You're not turning cold. There is nothing wrong with you. What you're feeling is actually one of the clearest signs that something deep within you is shifting in a profoundly sacred way. Most people never speak about this stage of awakening, but you're living it right now. There comes a moment on your spiritual journey when old connections begin to thin out, almost as if the emotional glue that once held everything together is quietly dissolving. You look around and notice that conversations which once lit you up now feel heavy. Jokes that used to make you laugh don't land anymore. Places that once felt comforting now seem to belong to a version of you that simply isn't here anymore. And the strangest part? You can't really explain this feeling to anyone. How do you tell someone, "I'm changing and I don't know how to be who I used to be"? If this hits home, listen closely. You're not losing connection. You're growing out of the layers of your old self. Layers that once helped you survive in a world that never truly saw you. You're not separating from people. You're separating from an identity you created just to be accepted. Most people spend their whole lives trying to belong somewhere. You're finally beginning to understand that belonging to others means nothing if you're disconnected from yourself. This change, the quiet, confusing, sometimes painful sense of distance, is a sign that you are returning to your own soul. Maybe you feel yourself drifting from people who once mattered. Maybe you sit in a room full of people and still feel strangely alone. Maybe you wonder if you're becoming intentionally distant or antisocial. But listen carefully. This is not the loneliness of emptiness. It's the loneliness of expansion. You are growing beyond the vibration of the environment where you once merely survived. You are beginning to see things that were once hidden from you. You can feel when energy is out of alignment. You sense the intentions behind words. You notice the noise that used to drown out your intuition. This is the awakening of your spiritual sensitivity. One of the biggest reasons you no longer feel connected is that you are no longer willing to shrink yourself just to keep the peace. Before your awakening, you may have been the one who listened to everyone, carried others' emotions, stayed quiet to avoid conflict. But now you can't anymore. You can't force conversations that feel empty. You can't laugh at things that feel wrong. You can't stay in relationships where your soul feels drained. The part of you that made compromises just to stay close is dissolving. And yes, that's frightening, because when you stop shrinking yourself, some people pull away. When you stop being who they expect you to be, they think you've changed. And yes, you have. Not in a dramatic way, but deeply within, in a way most will never understand. Awakening releases you from people who are attached to your mask so that you can meet those drawn to your soul. But this transition is painful. It feels as though you're standing between two worlds, no longer the person you once were, and not yet the one you're becoming. You may feel misunderstood even by the people you love. You try to explain what's happening inside you, but your words don't land. Some shake their heads, some don't listen. Some say you're overthinking or changing too fast, and a part of you might wish you could go back just to make things easier, to be the version of yourself everyone recognizes. But deep inside, something whispers, "You can't go back. You've outgrown that old version of yourself." Connection used to come from fitting in with others. Now, connection only feels real when your soul feels peaceful. Another reason you no longer feel connected is because you're becoming more authentic. This can appear as a surprising honesty, even to yourself. Maybe you say no more often. Maybe you protect your energy. Maybe you walk away from conversations that drain you. Maybe silence feels better than forcing empty words. This authenticity brings truth to the surface. Many of your old connections were built on habit, not true resonance. And when those habits dissolve, the relationships built on them dissolve too. That's not failure, it's clarity. You may also feel distant because your energy is shifting on a deeper vibrational level. When your inner frequency rises, you naturally fall out of alignment with people still living in old patterns, unhealed wounds, or unconscious behavior. This isn't judgment. There's simply no longer a match. Like a radio on a new station, you can't clearly hear what doesn't match your signal. You may still like them, still wish them well, but emotionally you can't connect the same way. And that's okay. You're not meant to stay tuned to everyone forever. What's really happening is this. Your inner compass is being recalibrated. You're being prepared for deeper connections. But to reach them, the superficial ones must fade first. Think of it like clearing a room. You can't bring in new furniture while the old mismatched pieces are still there. The universe is gently removing what no longer aligns with you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. And while that sounds comforting, the process itself is often uncomfortable. You might withdraw from social settings. You might prefer silence over conversation. You might spend more time alone than ever before. But this, solitude, isn't the same as before. This is sacred solitude, the kind that cleanses you. It helps you hear your own voice again. It helps you understand your feelings, your purpose, your energy. You're not isolating. You're returning to yourself. Eventually, you'll notice another shift. After the phase of separation comes clarity. Your intuition sharpens. Your sensitivity turns into wisdom. Your boundaries form naturally. You begin to value depth over comfort. You start recognizing souls instead of personalities. You see which connections are real and which are merely familiar. Distance becomes direction. And without forcing anything, you begin to attract people who feel different, people who understand you without explanation, people who speak from the heart, not the ego, people who immediately recognize your energy because they've walked their own path of awakening. These people won't drain you. They won't make you doubt yourself. They won't ask you to shrink. These are soul-aligned connections, peaceful, empowering, timeless. But to reach them, you must first pass through the phase of separation. The truth is, you've outgrown the version of yourself that sought external validation, the version that endured being misunderstood, the version that wanted to belong instead of being real. Now you're learning to live as your true self, and that naturally changes who you feel connected to. If you're reading or hearing this right now, know this. The people truly meant for you will feel like home. They will feel light, not heavy. They won't darken your heart. They'll expand it. You'll meet them when you're ready. And you're ready when you're honest with yourself about who you are becoming. So if you don't feel connected to anyone right now, take a deep breath. You're not behind. You're not alone. You're simply in transition, from connections built on your old self to those aligned with your higher self. This phase isn't a curse. It's a cleansing. It's the moment when the universe clears the noise so you can hear your soul again. This separation is not the end of connection. It's the beginning of true connection. And before we finish, let's return to where it all began. That feeling of not belonging anymore, of drifting, of not recognizing your old self. What if that feeling isn't a sign that you're lost, but that you finally found yourself? What if the reason you no longer feel connected to anyone is because you're learning to reconnect with the most important person of all, yourself? And once that connection is restored, everything else will align. Better people, deeper relationships, true energy, true love, true harmony. This isn't the time when you're losing people. It's the time when you're finding.